Reparations law. Let's go.
Hey, I have one question. It's about the piece where you're saying like European explorers, it's well documented that European explorers saw, black people here with afros and things like that. And my
Hmm.
question is, these same European explorers thought they were in India when they were really in America. So how can you really trust what they have to say about anything when they misnavigated, right? Where they even intended to go? And
Okay. One. Okay. Well, I'll get on the navigation thing in a second, but one, what does their navigation skills have to do with who they saw and how they describe the people?
oh, it has a lot to do with it. Well,
How so?
well, for one, like I just said, they completely misnavigated where they were. And for instance, Christopher
And let me
Columbus.
stop.
Mhm.
Let me stop there because many people believe that was a finesse by Christopher Columbus because the only way he can get funding from Isabella and Ferdinand was to say he was going to go to India instead of this new land. People said that he kind of knew he was going to a new land, and he just said he was going to India as a finesse in order to get money. And ultimately, they jailed Columbus, and the rest is history. But the people that were here, I don't think they lied, and there's a reason why they brought other black people with them as translators. This is very well documented. They brought black translators with them all through North, South, and Central America. Do you understand that?
Okay. Yeah, the same my point is the same people who, thought they were India and they really weren't are also the same people who endorse things like phrenology and scientific racism,
But what does that
endorsing
have to
I
do with their description? You're not
well,
making the
it's
correlation.
based on phrenology, it's based on racism.
So if
It's
they
based
pulled up and saw some people and they wrote down what they saw and even drew pictures of them, are you saying why would they lie about the people
it's
being
not
black
that
skinned?
they lie, it's based on their racist perception of who they thought non-white people were.
So you're saying that they saw these people and pretended they were black?
No.
Real,
And
what are you saying? I'm really trying to get. Yeah, let's get some clarity here. What are you saying? Because they were very
well,
specific about it, and several
Well,
of them.
let me first get clarity as to what you're saying, your position. Are you saying that these Black Aboriginals were of African descent, or are you saying that they were dark skinned?
I'm saying that they were the same black people, or black looking people that look like us today,
So you're saying that they
even
were
darker.
dark skinned, but you're not saying that they were of African descent.
Okay, let's stop with the African descent thing. I'm saying
Why?
because all people are from Africa. Everybody is of African descent. That's a blanket term. So if they came over from Africa 10,000 years ago, yeah, they would still be of African descent, but they're their own distinct group at this point. So I don't like to use trick words here.
So then that would mean that the people that you believe who are Black Aboriginals are a distinct group from Black Americans who descend from chattel slavery who have African ancestry, because
No,
Afro Americans, yes, our ancestors came from Africa less than 500 years ago. So our genetic makeup is very much so still has an African trace to it. But to your argument, Black Aboriginals are a distinct group of people, because they're
no. Let's stop because you're going all over the board. I'm saying if there was a black Aboriginal person that they enslaved here 500 years ago and then put them on a plantation, that's still a black person. Now, would that person be called an African American if they've been over here for 1,000 years? When do they stop being African? That's the question to you. When do they stop being African? How long does it take for them to stop being African? That's a question for you, ma'am.
them. Who are you talking about? Them? Are you talking about Afro Americans who?
A black Aboriginal person, ma'am. A black Aboriginal person. A person who's been here for, let's say, 500 years, documented. When do they stop being African? Are they
Well,
just
500 years doesn't make you a Black Aboriginal. That makes you an Afro-American with African ancestry.
God? Okay. So why are Jamaicans not called African Jamaicans?
That is a great question, and it's in part.
And I need a great answer. What's the great answer for that, ma'am?
Well, yeah, the short and brief answer is that you can look through Jamaican history, and Jamaican people have decided among themselves that they want to be defined as Jamaicans, just like Haitians have decided among themselves that they wanted to be defined as Haitians.
So, great answer. That's a great answer. Now, why is it a problem when we decide among ourselves when we want to be classified as foundational Black Americans? Why is that a problem?
No, that's not a problem. I think the problem lies in when you ignore, and I'm not saying you, Tariq, but when people ignore the history of Black Americans in this particular country, and the history shows that over time, since we've been here since 500 years, we have defined ourselves as Black and African American. It didn't just start with Jesse Jackson. Of course, a lot of people believe that, but there's history and documentation to show that since we've been here on this land for 500 years, we have self defined ourselves as Black and African American. Now, whether we're
No, we haven't. No, no we've acknowledged African ancestry, but us collectively using the term African American started in 1984. We weren't using African American in large numbers. And the reason why they had Jesse Jackson do that was to make us comparable to immigrants, to Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, Arab Americans, and we're the African Americans. And that was to implement the benign neglect policies that we see now. So we're saying none of that benign neglect. We're not foreigners and we're not even comparable to foreigners. We are foundational. We are self identifying, just like our Jamaican brethren, our Haitian brethren, our Trinidadian brethren, all of the people in the Caribbean who's been here, according to everybody else, as long as we have, but they don't tack on the name African because they understand that they are a new, distinct group. So are we. So why should that be a problem?
well, just really briefly, I'll say it is 2022, and I do believe in the human right of self determination. So,
Mhm.
insofar that there's conversations amongst Black Americans who want to, identify as something new, for instance, FBA or ADOS or any other term, then that's great. But at the same time, we cannot ignore history. And there's documentation from Free People of Color conventions. Uh,
I don't know what any of this has to do with anything, ma'am. This is kind of word salad at this point. Can we get some clarity, ma'am? I'm going to ask again. Why should we not do what the Caribbeans do and self identify our group outside of the African moniker? Because we're not culturally African anymore, ma'am.
people can do what they want to do, and I just said insofar that this is 2022 and
Oh,
people.
ma'am, okay. I don't want you to go on a rant. Ma'am, let me ask you, where are you from and what's your lineage? Are you non FBA?
I don't subscribe to FBA because I'm still not sure what that really means.
Yeah, you know what it means. Are you from an immigrant background? Does any
No,
immigrants
I'm
there?
not, sir. Both of my
No.
family lines um were enslaved in the United States, and our ancestors were forced here against our will from the
Sides of your,
continent of Africa.
both sides of your family?
Yes, both sides.
I don't believe you, ma'am.
Descendants of sharecroppers and.
I don't believe you, ma'am. I don't think you're being honest.
Okay, well, we can end the conversation. Thanks. Have a great night.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. There's a reason why she got up out of here. I don't think this woman is full FBA. Because why wouldn't a foundational Black American want to acknowledge their history and their lineage? We got to watch out for $5 FBAs out here. That's why she got out of here, because she saw the jig was up Watch out for these $5 FBAs out here. You got to watch out for them. Let's get Grayson in here. We have somebody from outside the community. What's up,
How you
Rich?
doing?